stars are right, and that means it's time for another episode of The Whisper in Darkness. I'm your host, the manfromleng. Thank you very much for joining me today. On this episode, we are doing our playthrough of the Search for Kadath, the first Mythos pack in the Dream Eaters cycle. That's right, yeah, we are way behind, so we are going to bang out some playthroughs here over the next couple days. Starting with the Search for Kadath, it is the second scenario in the dream side of this campaign, and of course we are playing this with Luke Robinson. We did many months ago. We played the Beyond the Gates of Sleep, and Luke Robinson did extremely well. So we are going to pick up where we left off and hopefully make it through the Search for Kadath. I've been really, I guess, reluctant to play this one because it is a fairly long scenario. It can be because there is a lot to do, and so we are going to see what we can do today. Before I get started, I'd like to thank the patrons of this channel for their tremendous support. These people have gone above and beyond to bring you content like these playthroughs. If you'd like to support the channel, head over to patreon.com, sign up for a tier of your choice, and claim your rewards. That would be awesome. Here is the Luke Robinson deck that we are playing. It is based on a deck built by Start With The Name over at Arkham DB. I didn't make that many changes. We still have 6 experience left over. I was pretty happy with how the deck performed the last time and didn't really see the need to make that many changes. We did upgrade, because we are playing with 2 copies of Arcane Research, we did upgrade 1 copy of Shriveling 0 to Shriveling 3. We also purchased Charisma, since we have several really good allies, David Renfield and Mr. Rook, that we want in play. We purchased 2 copies of 4 of Cups to further boost Luke Robinson's willpower, along with the Hawkeye folding camera and Holy Rosary. And we had to remove 2 copies of Calling in Favors, which I could have used to refill Mr. Rook and whatnot, but given that we have Charisma now, I didn't feel it was necessary. Of course, our signature weakness, because it has been quite a while, our signature weakness is, of course, Detached Reality, and our basic weakness is Mob Enforcer, so we have another enemy to deal with. We'll see how that plays out in this one, since if you can leave your enemy behind, there's a pretty good chance that it will be discarded when you're constantly resetting the board in this one. We will take a look at the summary of the campaign so far. Luke Robinson experienced the Mystic Dream at the beginning of Beyond the Gates of Sleep. The cats collected their tribute from the Zoogs at the end of that scenario. We sent the Black Cat to warn Patrice Hathaway, who is playing the waking side of this campaign, and we have collected 1 evidence of Kadath, so hopefully that will stand us in good stead as we play this scenario, which I have played before. This is not a blind playthrough. I have played several of the dream scenarios in this campaign, because I was playing in a 4 survivor run through of the dream side of this campaign. So I have played this one as well as Dark Side of the Moon. I have not played the waking side, so those will be blind playthroughs. So looking forward to bringing you those. I think we are set up and ready to go in Octagon. Hopefully everything will work out here, and I haven't forgotten anything. So here we have Luke Robinson. Of course, his special ability, he begins the game with the gate box in play, and you may play 1 event each turn as if you were at a connecting location and engaged with each enemy at that location. His Elder Sign effect is +1, and you may place a charge on the gate box. We have 3 charges. We have the 2 copies of Arcane Research, which add 2 mental trauma to us, but we do have a sanity of 9, so that's not too bad. Of course, we've got Charisma. We also start the scenario with Virgil Gray, writer of Strange Tales. He is an ally and dreamer, and he has the response: after one or more signs of the gods are uncovered, either draw one card, gain one resource, or heal one horror from Virgil Gray. If there's more than one investigator in the game, give control of Virgil Gray to another investigator. And if he is defeated, we remove him from the game. He has one health and 3 sanity. So we can use him to soak a significant amount of sanity over the course of the game, because as if you have played this scenario before, you know that the goal here is to uncover signs of the gods, which are on the back sides of these locations, similar to a few past scenarios. These locations have the veiled keyword. So once you discover all of the clues at locations like Ulthar and Dilathleen, you can flip them over and resolve the text on the back. That's where you find the signs of the gods. And so once we collect enough of those, we can end the game. So we do start with Ulthar in play. It's a 1 shroud location with 1 clue, and it has the veiled keyword. We also have the Sky River, which has the forced effect: when you attempt to leave Sky River, if it has not been flipped over, test 2 willpower or 2 agility, and if you fail, flip this card over and resolve the text on the other side. We have a pack of Vuniths there. They have Swarming 1, so we have 1 Swarm card underneath them. So there are 2 Vuniths there. We are going to skip the Sky River using our gate box, because there's really no point to going there. We would just have to deal with the Vuniths. We can simply use our gate box to jump from Ulthar all the way to Dilathleen and save us a bit of time. Dilathleen is a 3 shroud location with 1 clue. It is veiled, and we can take an action to spend 1 resource, search the top 6 cards of your deck for an item, asset, and draw it. Shuffle your deck. We might end up doing that, depending on how our opening hand, the draw of our opening hand goes. Once we get our 2 clues, we can advance our Act deck. And as long as we're at a port location, which Dilathleen is. And then we will begin our adventure through the Dreamlands. There are many, many different ways you can play this scenario. We'll just probably go through them fairly straightforward. I usually go to Baharna first, and we will go from there. And just pick up as many signs of the gods as we can. And yeah, that's the goal. So as many signs of the gods as we can before the game ends. The game begins on Agenda 1-8, Journey Across the Dreamlands. Despite the advice of the Dreamlands inhabitants, you and your companions seek unknown Kadath, where the gods dwell. And as an action, if you are at a port location, you may resign. Venturing into the unknown has become too dangerous, so you return to safety with the information you have gathered. It has a doom threshold of 7. So we will be... We will attempt to gather as many signs of the gods as possible before we end up resigning at some point later in this game. But it's nice. We just have to be at a port location, which there are, I think, each of the encounter sets. Each of the location batches. Sorry, I'm not sure how many, 4 or 5. That you can go through. So we will resign at some point. Again, Act 1A is Kingdom of the Sky, and the objective is at the end of the round, investigators at a port location may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance, and we need 2 clues. So if we can grab a clue at Ulthar and Dilathleen, we can advance and begin our journey across the Dreamlands. We are playing Search for Kadath on standard difficulty. The skulls, of which there are 3, are -X, where X is the number of signs of the gods the investigators have uncovered. So that is that will gradually rise. I think the past times I've played this scenario, I've gotten to 6 or 7 signs of the gods. So the skulls will be increasingly painful. The cultist is reveal another token. If this token is revealed during an investigation and this skill test fails, increase the location's shroud by 1 for the remainder of the round. The tablets are -2, and if you fail, either take 1 damage and 1 horror, or place 1 doom on the current agenda. And the Elder thing is +2, which is unusual. The Black Cat points you in the right direction. If this token is revealed during an investigation and you succeed, discover 1 additional clue. Can't remember what the makeup of the Chaos Bag is. I'm just going to check quickly. I'm not sure if we have any of those. We've got 3 skulls, 3 tablets, and a cultist, and a -4. So the tablets are -2s. The cultist, as it usually is a redraw. So the big, so -3, -4, and then -X, depending on the skulls. Now, I just need to check something, because we do have evidence. If that next to evidence of Kadath, record 1 tally mark. Okay, so we don't have to worry about the evidence is not a sign of the gods, so we don't have to add a resource token to our encounter card here. I think we are ready to go. We will draw our opening hand and see how we do. Let's kick this game off. We will draw our opening hand. I think what we're looking for initially is going to be, of course, the Hawkeye folding camera. That would be awesome. Any of the willpower boosters, so we can boost Luke Robinson's willpower high enough. We got Sixth Sense, which is very nice. Ward of Protection and Rite of Seeking. Wow, we have lots of ways of investigating. So we will get rid of the detached reality. There is Mr. Rook. So again, extremely great draw there. I think we'll throw the Ward of Protection, the Rite of Seeking. We'll keep the Holy Rosary. That will boost us up to 5 willpower. And we will draw, we'll keep the Sixth Sense, right? Mr. Rook, Sixth Sense, and Holy Rosary we'll keep, and we will draw 2. We get an Uncage the Soul, which will make Sixth Sense free, which is awesome. And we get an Astounding Revolution. That is too bad, because we want those in our deck, not in our hand. So that will be we will just be committing that to an intellect skill test at some point during the game. All right, I think we're ready to play. We will take our first action, I believe, to play Uncage the Soul, to play Sixth Sense for free. And that is very nice. Great start there. Sixth Sense, of course, take an action to investigate using willpower instead of intellect. If we draw one of the special symbols, we may choose a revealed location connected to your location. You are now investigating as if you were at the chosen location instead of your location. And you may use either shroud value. I think we will also, we are going to play our Holy Rosary for 2 resources. We will do that. So our willpower is now 5, and we have plenty of sanity to work with, which is very nice. And I think we will investigate using Sixth Sense. So our willpower is 5 v1. Our first draw from the Chaos Bag will be a +1. So we do grab this clue. So far, so good. Very straightforward first turn. We managed to grab a clue. We get a couple of our key assets down on the table. We can drop Mr. Rook next turn, and then we can start to search our deck for things that we need, and hopefully gain some resources along the way with our other copy of Astounding Revelation. So we will go, there's no enemies to worry about. These Vuniths do not hunt, so they just sit there, and we will evade them. Actually, we could I believe during our turn. Yeah, let's do that now. Before we advance our turn, I should use the gate box because we can move to our dream gate. And then at the end of the investigation phase, we can set the dream gate aside and move him to any revealed location. Now, these are all revealed. The reason Ulthar is veiled, but you do not need to look at the backside of Ulthar. It's bad news. Same with the River Sky, or Sky River. You don't want to look at the back of that one. So we will simply teleport our way to Dilathleen this turn. So we will be ready to grab that clue next turn, and then we will be able to advance the act and continue our journey. So we go to the upkeep phase. We draw a Storm of Spirits. That will be helpful if we run into a big swarm. That will damage deal 2 damage to every enemy. We don't even have to be at that location because of Luke Robinson's special ability. We can hit things from afar if we need to. It's just a little pricey at 3 resources, but I think we'll be okay because we did get that early Uncage the Soul. We add a Doom, and we go to turn 2. Our encounter card is going to be Hunted by Corsairs. Attach Hunted by Corsairs to the current act. So we add that there. Forced, when the act advances, each investigator takes 2 damage. Attached act gains test 4 intellect to outwit the Corsairs or 4 agility to sneak past them. If you succeed, discard Hunted by Corsairs. Now, this is actually a bit of a tricky one for Luke. We only have 3 intellect and we only have 3 agility, so it's going to be difficult for us to deal with that. We can commit the Astounding Revelation to try to get rid of that, but that is going to be a little bit difficult for us, and we only have 5 health. So we really don't want to take the damage from that. So that is going to slow us down while we try to get rid of that. We will gain our 3 actions and move on to the investigation phase. We can grab this clue easily enough. We can spend a resource to search the top 6 cards of our deck for an item asset. I think we want to do that first. If we can find the Hawkeye folding camera, that would be, I think that would give us a willpower first, or is it an intellect first? I can't remember, but that might actually help us. So let's do that. Let's use a resource, and we will go hunting for the top 6 cards of our deck for an item asset. Hopefully there is a good one in there. We do find a Hawkeye folding camera. Yeah, it is. The Hawkeye folding camera does give us a... we've also got a 4 of Cups in there as well. But I want the Hawkeye folding camera, so we will take that. So that is good. We will use our second action to play the Hawkeye folding camera for 2 resources. So now once we clear the clue from Dilathleen, we will get another +1 willpower, so we will be up to 6 willpower, which is obviously awesome. Unfortunately, it's not intellect, which we need to get rid of this stupid Hunted by Corsairs. All right, let's do an investigate action as our next one. So we are going 5v3 for a clue. And the Chaos Bag gives us a skull, which is a minus... Well, it's a 0 right now, so we will simply take that clue. And because we discovered the final clue at the Dilathleen, we do get the Hawkeye folding camera. We do get an evidence on it, so now our willpower is 6. And what are we going to do here? I believe the veiled locations are triggered as a free triggered ability. Yes, they are. So let us flip... actually, before we do that... Oh, we have to take an action to get rid of attached but hunted by Corsairs. I'm not going to do... I could check Dilathline right now, but I'm not going to do it because that will add a sign to the sign of the gods, which will make the skulls -1, and I want the skulls to be 0 while we deal with this hunted by Corsairs. So I am not going to do that at this time. We can do it next turn. We will go to the upkeep phase and we draw a Draw into the Flame. So there's 2 clues that we can easily grab if necessary. All right, we will go to the Mythos phase. We add another Doom, and we will draw our encounter card, which is the Night Riders. Swarming 1. So we must pull a card from there, from the top of our deck, and place it under the Night Riders. While the Night Riders has no attached swarm cards, they get -3 evade. After you evade Night Riders, discard it. So we can... Man, we don't have the... That's a bit unfortunate because we don't have a Shriveling to deal with these suckers. And they are 5 evade. And they are 2 combat. So this is not a good situation for us. That hunted by Corsairs is really nasty against Luke Robinson. If we could evade these things the first time around, that would be awesome. But they have 2 health. So if we attack the Swarm card, well, we could take a Sanity. We could take an action to gain a resource, and then use Storm of Spirits on them to kill them. I think that might be our best play here, because we can dump that Sanity on, we can dump the Horror on Virgil Grey and then just heal it later. So that's what we'll do. We'll take an action to gain a resource. We take an attack of opportunity, which is going to be 2 sanity loss because there are 2 swarms there. There's 2 creatures. We'll put 1 on Virgil and 1 on the Holy Rosary. Let's play our Storm of Spirits now. And we will attempt to eliminate these Night Riders. So fight. This attack uses willpower instead of combat. If you succeed, instead of standard damage, this attack deals 2 damage to each enemy at your location. So hopefully we will be able to... we are going 6v2, which is very good. See what the Chaos Bag has to say. We get a Cultist. That is reveal another token. That's just reveal another token. So we just need to take a peek at the top token here. It's a -3, so we do succeed, and we deal 2 damage to each of the enemies here. So this one is defeated, and this goes to the bottom of our deck. So not too bad. Where is the trick to move this to our deck? We don't want to shuffle it into our deck. There we go. Move to bottom of deck. All right, so we killed all of the nasty Night Riders with our Storm of Spirits. We had to take a couple sanity, a couple horror to do that, but that's an acceptable outcome for killing them all. Now we need to deal with the hunted by Corsairs. How are we going to do that? The skulls are still a 0, so I'm going to commit the Astounding Revelation. So we're going to go 4v4. That's really not good, but at least the skulls are still zeros. So 4v4. Yeah, so let's see how we do. Chaos Bag gives us a tablet. That's a -2. We have to either take a damage and a horror or place one doom on the current agenda. That's really... I think that was the worst case scenario right there. The tablets were -3, -4, -2s. We could have done with any of the good tokens, but we didn't get any of them, so we are going to have to add a doom because I do not want to take a damage and a horror. So the Hunted by Corsairs is blocking us at the moment. We could just take the 2 damage, but man, oh man. I don't know. Do we play Mr. Rook next turn, or do we just take the 2 damage and just try to do it next turn? Yeah. I guess we'll try... Well, shoot. I think we may just end up taking the damage, honestly. I really don't want to sit here any longer than I have to. Well, let's flip over the Veiled location. I think we'll just end up taking the damage. So you have uncovered a sign of the gods. Place 1 resource on the scenario reference card to indicate this. And for the remainder of the scenario, resources on the scenario reference card represent signs of the gods the investigators have discovered. Your quest to uncover as many of these signs as you can in order to discern the location of Kadath. Flip this card back over. So we will go to the end of the round. We draw another copy of Sixth Sense. So end of the round, we can advance, but we're going to take 2 damage. I think we'll just take the damage, unfortunately. I don't want to sit here any longer than I have to, so we will advance the act. To the sea, you find a captain, willing to grant you passage to the remote regions of the Dreamlands, wherein you may find signs of the gods to point you in the direction of Kadath. Search the encounter deck, discard pile, and all play areas for the Cats of Ulthar, each pack of Vuniths, and each card from the Zug encounter set, and remove them from the game. So this is one of the issues with this particular scenario, is you end up having to do a lot of resetting the board. So let's dump everything in there. So we remove the Vuniths. This card gets moved to the bottom of our deck. We remove the Zugs. Any more Zugs? That's a Zug. That is not. That is not. That is not. I wish the Knight Riders were Zugs. Zugs all go away. Another Zug gone. The Mega Birds. And yeah, okay, so we've got all the Zugs. All right, we've searched the encounter deck. We've removed the Cats, the Zuniths, the Vunith, and the Zugs. Shuffle each set-aside copy of Priests of a Thousand Masks into the encounter deck along with the encounter discard pile. All right, so I don't think the Hunted by Corsairs, because it's still attached to the act. Okay, so this goes back into the encounter deck, and then we have to go find a bunch of cards here. We need the the priests. So we've got 1 there, 2, and 3. So shuffle each set-aside copy of Priest of 1,000 Masks into the encounter deck. Good stuff. Then we must choose. Visit the Isle of Oriab in the south. Resolve the Oriab setup in the campaign guide. Visit the ancient land of Manar in the west. Resolve the Manar in setup. Visit the Forbidden Lands in the north. Resolve the Forbidden Lands setup. Or visit the Kingdom of the Timeless Realm to the east. Let us go to... I usually go to Oriab first. So let's go there. Now I need to check the encounter setup just to make sure I do this right. So we lose all our clues, first of all. So we lose our 2 clues. Then we remove each location from play or place it in the victory display. Each enemy at those attached locations is discarded. So these will go away. So let's dump all these over here in that pile, and then we will grab our Oriab locations, which is Baharna, Mount Nagranik, and the Nameless Ruins. So we will look at all these cards and find Mount Nagranik. There is the Nameless Ruins, and there is Mount Nagranik. All right. Baharna has 1 clue, Mount Nagranik has a clue, and the Nameless Ruins has a clue. We go to Baharna. This goes into the discard. Well, it will go into the discard pile once we finish the setup. Let's see. Search the encounter deck for 1 copy of Night Riders and spawn it at Mount Nagranik. Alright, so we need more Night Riders. There is a copy. Now, are they hunters? No, they are not hunters. They just hang out. Okay, and then because they are swarming 1, we need to add a swarm card. So that goes there. And what else? Anything else? We'd spawn a 2nd copy, advance to Act 2A, the Isle of Oriab. All right, so we have this will go, we will find the Isle of Oriab. It is the first one, so we're good to go. So Isle of Oriab. To the south lies the small but thriving volcanic island of Oriab, dominated by the dormant volcano called Nagranik. The Bay of Baharna, marked by twin lighthouses Thon and Tal, overlook the southern sea. Objective: find and uncover as many signs of the gods in this region as you can. At the end of the round, if each investigator is at the same port location, you may move to another location by advancing this act. If the investigators have uncovered 10 signs of the gods, proceed to R1. So Hunted by Corsairs is gone. Thank goodness. Let's take a look at Baharna here. 2 shroud location with 1 clue, and it is veiled. Victory 1. Mount Nagranik, 3 shroud location, 1 clue, veiled. After you enter Mount Nagranik or discover 1 or more clues at Mount Nagranik, if the investigators have not obtained supplies from Baharna, test 3 strength, or 3 combat, or 3 agility. If you fail, lose your remaining actions and immediately end your turn. So that's bad news. And then the Nameless Ruins, veiled, forced. After you end your turn at the Nameless Ruins, deal 1 direct damage to an ally asset you control. So we don't want to do that. Baharna is connected to the Nameless Ruins and Mount Nagranik. Mount Nagranik is only connected to is actually connected to both, and the Nameless Ruins is connected to both. So we have several options depending on which way we want to do this. Now we do have our Drawn to the Flame, so we can discover 2 clues at a location. But we can't do it at Mount Nagranik because then we would be engaged with the Night Riders, unfortunately. And we don't have a way to deal with the Night Riders at the moment. So maybe... Oh, and we discovered a Sign of the Gods, so we can recover... we can heal a horror from Virgil Grey. Or we could draw a card... I'll just heal a horror from him this time, since we... Okay, I think we've done everything that we need to do here. So, how do we deal with the Night Riders at Mount Nagranik? We don't have any combat options. We could try to get Mr. Rook, although we don't have any resources at the moment. The Nameless Ruins is pretty easy to deal with because we could play Drawn to the Flame to grab the clue here. We could then move, flip it, and then move away, so we wouldn't have to deal a damage to Virgil Grey. So dealing with the Nameless Ruins is fairly straightforward. It's the Mount Nagranik location that will be a little trickier to deal with. So that was we did all that at the end of the round. So now we will go to the Mythos phase, 4 of 7 Doom, and our encounter card is going to be the Law of Igiroth Chaos. Now these are the Peril and Hidden cards that get added to our hand. Secretly add this card to your hand. You cannot play cards or trigger abilities on player cards with odd printed resource costs. So we cannot play... is it commit or just play or trigger? You cannot play cards or trigger abilities on player cards. So we cannot play Mr. Rook. We cannot trigger Sixth Sense. Everything else. Oh, we cannot use our gate box either. That's not good. Because it is a 3. All right. So the Law of Igiroth is going to cause some trouble for us. So... how are we going to do this? We don't have any cards with even resource costs in our hand. We do have Drawn to the Flame, but I want to use that to get this Nameless Ruins. So we are basically a 2v2, 3v2 at Baharna to investigate. But that's not bad, actually. So I think we will first investigate at Baharna. 3v2. Chaos Bag says auto fail. So there's our first auto fail of the game. Let's try this again. 3v2. There's our second auto fail of the game. Wow. It's been a long time. So, well... I draw the fails all the time, so this is par for the course for manfromleng, unfortunately. We might as well try one more time. 3v2. We can commit the Sixth Sense, I think. So we can go 4v2. to try to grab this clue. And we get a -4. So we drew 2 auto fails and a -4 that turn. So pretty much the worst possible. I mean, if the -4 was an auto fail, that would have been the worst possible turn. But yeah, pretty awful turn there. Can't really do a whole lot about that. I mean, we just drew 2 auto fails and a -4. So we get a Holy Rosary. So that is an even card. So we can discard that to get rid of the Law of Ygiroth and turn back on our cards. So that's good. Unfortunately, we lost a whole turn doing it. Turn 5, 5 of 7 Doom. We will draw our encounter card, which is going to be Whispers of Hypnos. This treachery is bad in multiplayer. It can be potentially quite bad in multiplayer, but in solo it is not really that bad. Choose a skill. For the remainder of the round, each investigator gets -2 to the chosen skill. You cannot choose a skill that has already been chosen by a copy of this effect. So in multiplayer, that can be pretty tricky because it's got the peril keyword, so you've got to pick without consulting your other players about what skills they are planning to use this round. But in solo play, we simply pick, I guess we'll pick agility because we don't really need it. And this round, so we will just choose agility, and we will get -2 on agility for the rest of the turn. So no big deal. Okay. So obviously our first action is to discard the Holy Rosary to discard the Law of Ygiroth. So glad to see that gone. Now we can play, our Sixth Sense is back on. Sixth Sense actually might come in handy here because we could go to we could discover the clue at Mount Nagranik and grab that clue, although we'd still need to go there to trigger the veiled keyword. But then we could escape the Night Riders. So that's not bad. So let's investigate first with our Sixth Sense. So we are at 6v2. And we get a tablet. So that's a -2. If you fail, either take 1 damage and 1 horror or place 1 doom on the current agenda. So we succeeded. Now, we did draw a special token, so you may choose a revealed location connected to your location that you are now investigating as if you were at the chosen location instead. So we are 6, we'd be 4v3 if we do Mount Nagranik. So let's grab this clue at Mount Nagranik, since we can easily grab the clue at Baharna. So now we can move in, trigger the free triggered ability, and then escape the Night Riders with our gate box. So our third action, we will investigate at Mount Nagranik, Baharna, 6v2 again. We get a -1, so we will grab that clue, and we will trigger its veiled ability. So each investigator at Baharna may return an item or supply card from their discard pile to their hand. Maybe the Holy Rosary. Item or supply card. I think we only have the Holy Rosary. So we'll grab the Holy Rosary back. Remember that the investigators have obtained supplies from Baharna. We flip this card back over. All right. So we grab that clue. Now we can quite easily deal with the Mount Nagranik issue, and then we also can deal with the Nameless Ruins issue. Using we could either do an investigate We'd have to draw a 6v... If we went 6v5, we would need to draw a skull or a better token. So maybe... let's... we also get a resource on Hawkeye folding camera, so now our intellect has gone up to 4. So we're a 6-4, 2-3. Okay. So that wasn't a bad turn. Not a bad turn. We draw a Storm of Spirits. That will be good to deal with a swarm enemy if necessary. We add a Doom. We go to 6 of 7, and our encounter card is going to be Song of the Mega Bird. Attached to your location. Forced after you move out of attached location, take 1 horror, place 1 Doom on the current agenda, and discard Song of the Mega Bird. This effect can cause the current agenda to advance. We can get rid of the Song of the Mega Bird by testing 4 willpower to resist the call or 4 combat to drive away the birds. If you succeed, discard Song of the Mega Bird. So we can't move out of here without adding a Doom, which would cause the agenda to advance. So let us deal with the Song of the Mega Bird first. We are 6v4. We can do that easily enough. 6v4, we draw an Elder Sign. Awesome. That's fantastic because that, of course, gives us a charge on the gate box. So the Mega Birds are gone. And we gained a charge on the gate box. So we will move to Mount Nagranic. We will use the... oh, after we discovered clues. At Mount Nagranic. We had not obtained the supplies from Baharna when we did that. Oh, that's... yeah, that's unfortunate. That's a mistake I think I cannot rectify, unfortunately. So after you enter Mount Nagranic or discover 1 or more clues at Mount Nagranic, if the investigators have not obtained the supplies from Baharna, test 3. So I would have lost a turn there. So what we will do, we will fix this by, we will simply end our turn here, and that will, we will lose our turn here because we should have lost our turn probably. We'll test 3, 3v3. Let me see here. How do we fix this? Okay, so we had 2 actions. If we fail this agility test, we will lose our 2 actions and end our turn. So we're just going 3v3. And we drew a -4, so we would have failed that test, so we will lose all our actions and simply end our turn. Rather than... that will solve the Mount Nagranic issue. Unfortunately, that was not a great... missed that piece of text, because we did discover a clue at Mount Nagranic using Sixth Sense, which would have triggered it before we obtained the supplies. So we lost our turn. We draw David Renfield, and that will end our turn, unfortunately. 7 of 7. So we will advance. So the Corsair's Pursuit. Months have passed since you first set forth from Ulthar. Along the way, you have seen many fabulous places and met many strange and interesting people. Some have been helpful, giving you sage advice or pointing you in the right direction. Most, however, have regarded you with suspicion and wariness. Perhaps it is because you were a dreamer from the outside world, or perhaps it is because you were foolish and accursed enough to seek the forbidden places of the Dreamlands. But it is the Corsairs who truly frighten you. Throughout your travels, you spot them pursuing you from time and time again. Manfromleng, the inhabitants of the Dreamlands call them. Satyr-like creatures with hooves instead of feet and great curved horns protruding from their foreheads. They sail on long black galleys with black sails. You know not why they hunt for you relentlessly, and you are not keen to find out. Shuffle both set-aside Corsairs of Leng enemies into the encounter deck along with the encounter discard pile. So the men from Leng are in pursuit of the man from Leng. That's the wrong pile. So yeah, unfortunately we lost a whole turn due to the Mount Nagranic game text, but we should be able to. We did gain that gatebox token, so it's better than nothing, I suppose. So we shuffle those in. And then we advance. Agents of the Outer Gods. Perhaps seeking Kadath is an accursed venture after all. Even so, curiosity gnaws at your mind. What proof could be the resting place of the gods hold for you? And again, if you are at a port location, resign. Venturing into the unknown has become too dangerous, so you return to the safety with the information you have gathered. We need to draw an encounter card. I'm going to shuffle the encounter deck one more time just to do that, and we will draw a card. We get a Corsairs of Leng right off the bat, unfortunately. Spawn city or surface location. That will be right on top of us. And they are alert, so if we try to evade them and we fail, they will attack us. Forced after Corsairs of Leng attacks via its alert keyword, it gets -3 evade for the remainder of the phase. So it has 2 fight, 4 health, and 5 evade. So that is big and beefy and very difficult to deal with for us. Man, how are we going to deal with that? Unfortunately, that is a big issue. That is a significant issue to deal with. 2 combat, but 4 health. We have really nothing that can help us deal with that besides our Storm of Spirits. And even then, that only gets us part of the way there. We could use our gate box to escape. And then we could try... I think what we need to do, we use our gate box to escape to the Dream Gate Wondrous Journey. We play Mr. Rook. Then we can use Drawn to the Flame to grab the clue at Nameless Ruins, because the Dream Gate would be connected to it. At the end of our turn, the Dream Gate is going to dump us at a location, which would be the Nameless Ruins. We would deal a direct damage to an ally asset. Is this at the end? At the end of the investigation phase. Okay. Oh, so this happens before the end of the investigation phase. Okay, so we wouldn't take a damage from the Nameless Ruins. Okay, we can do that. Or we play David Renfield is the other option. If we play David Renfield, the Corsairs, we're going to have to go back to Baharna and take at least one hit from the Corsairs before we can leave this area. So let's do that. I think that's our best plan. So we use the gate box. We exhaust it. We spend a charge. We zip to the Wondrous Journey. That dumps us there. Now we can play David Renfield. We can add a doom to him. So our willpower goes up to 7. And we gain a resource. Now, we want to play Drawn to the Flame, targeting the Nameless Ruins. So we draw an encounter card. Oh my god. We get another Corsairs. Wow. And I shuffled that deck twice, and I drew both Corsairs. So the Corsairs are both at Baharna. But we do get this clue. Okay. How does the veiled keyword work again? Is it just a free? It's just free, right? Yeah, so we can trigger that at any time. Okay. All right. So we will hang out here. We have one action remaining. We might as well play Mr. Rook. So we have all of our allies out. So let's get Mr. Rook in play. Do I want to draw my weakness? Not yet. I don't think I want to go for... If I use Mr. Rook, I want to be able to grab a Shriveling. But I don't want my weaknesses at the moment. So at the end of the investigation phase, we get dumped. We can move to any revealed location. So we will move to the Nameless Ruins, which has already triggered its forced effect, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay. So a productive turn. We draw Eureka. That is also a good way to search our encounter deck. We can trigger the Veiled ability during any free triggered ability window, so we will do it, I guess, at the beginning of the upkeep phase. There is one there. You have uncovered a sign of the gods. What remains of Tyria? The ruins of this settlement are vast, but it is the caverns that lie beneath that draw your interest. Deep underground, you become lost in a forbidden maze of wildly complex corridors impossible to map. For days, you scour the maze, unable to find the path to its core. Finally, you notice a dark shape, like a hazy shadow, watching you from around a corner. You pursue it until it leads you to a tomb in the center of the gargantuan cavern, surrounded by ancient tapestries depicting the once great kingdom of Tyria. You wonder about the intentions of the shadow that led you here. Was it aiding you or manipulating you? You record the story of Tyria's fall before fleeing to the surface. You have no wish to stay any longer. You have uncovered a sign of the gods. Place one resource on the scenario reference card and flip this card over. So we grab that. We add a sign of the gods. So next turn, we can go to Mount Nagranok. Then we can use the gate box again to get back to Baharna without having to deal with the Night Riders. And then we will get dumped into Baharna. We will get attacked twice by the Corsairs. We have enough allies to soak the damage. And then we will end this, end our roll, we can advance the act. Okay. We add 1 doom, so 2 of 9, thanks to David Renfield. We will draw an encounter card. Law of Ygiroth Chaos again. So we have to discard a player card with an even printed resource cost from our hand. Again, that will be... We can't play the Storm of Spirits now. We can't use Sixth Sense. We can trigger David Renfield. So we gain a resource because he is a 2. And actually we gained from your location. Oh, we didn't get to use the Hawkeye folding camera because we weren't at our location. So that's fine. We would have just gained a sanity. We can do that next time. So we will move. We will gain our 3 actions. We will move to Mount Nagranik. We will flip the Veiled location as a free triggered ability. You have uncovered a sign of the gods, the likeness of old. As you begin your perilous climb, you realize that you are the only ones who dare to scale the mountain. Although woodsmen and lava gatherers explore its lower slopes, few brave the cliffs higher up the northern face, and certainly none along the southern face of the mountain, which cannot be seen from the city below. You eventually reach a valley of still lava, solid as rock. At the far end, a twisting narrow path ascends the southern slope. When you reach the top, you find that you have been searching for a face carved into the side of the mountain, hundreds of feet tall, the face of one of the great ones, or so it is told. You have uncovered a sign of the gods. Place 1 resource on the scenario reference card. Shuffle 1 set-aside copy of Tenebrous Night Gaunt into the encounter deck. So let us go and add a Tenebrous Night Gaunt. This is the problem, is it's dumping more enemies into the encounter deck with each thing we do here. So the Tenebrous Night Gaunt has 4 fight, 4 health, and 1 evade. Hunter, when Tenebrous Night Gaunt leaves play as a result of the act's setup, set it aside. It keeps all tokens and attachments. After resolving the act setup, put it back into play at any city location. So if it's in play, it will keep on coming after you. Fortunately, it only has 1 evade, though. So it goes into the encounter deck. All right. So we have done that. We got our 3rd city of the sign of the gods. Now we will use the gate box to move to our location here. Oh, we can't use the gate box. Okay, we would have had to have done this a different way. Because we can take an act. We had 2 actions remaining, so we will discard. We'll have to reset the turn here, but so we discard the Holy Rosary to get rid of the Law of Ygiroth. Then we would move. So we would have 1 action remaining. Then we trigger the Veiled keyword on Mount Nagranik. Then we trigger the gate box because we can, and then we move. We have 1 action remaining. I think we just get dumped. We might as well draw a card. We get Knowledge as Power, which would be awesome if we had Actually, we've missed Virgil Gray again. We could have drawn a card, gained a resource, or healed a horror. Let's draw another card. So we get 4 of Cups. Okay, so we've triggered him. We missed him once, but that's fine. We drew a card for our turn. At the end of the investigation phase, we get dumped back into Baharna. During the enemy phase, we take 2 attacks for 1 damage each, which our allies will soak for us. We will go to the upkeep phase. We draw another copy of David Renfield, and then at the end of the round, if each investigator is at the same port location, you may move to another region by advancing the act. So we will do that now. Where to? As you board your ship once again, you find the crew loading barrels of trade goods, fur, ore, exotic spices, and the like. We'll make a killing with these back on the mainland, the captain says, clapping your shoulder. Hope you found what you were looking for, too. Where do you want to head next? Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. That Law of Ikiroth is going to just haunt us every turn here. The investigators must decide, choose one. You cannot choose a place you have already visited. If you have already visited each of the listed areas, proceed to R1. So visit the ancient land of Manar to the west. Visit the Forbidden Lands to the north, or visit the Kingdom of the Timeless Realm. Let's go to Manar. So we will set up the Manar as we do so. So we lose all our clues. First off, first things first, remove each location from the game or place it in the victory display if it has victory X and no clues on it. So Baharna goes to the victory display, as does the Nameless Ruins. Mount Nagranik just gets removed. I believe we want to put it there. Just want to make sure this might not be the right deck. This is not the right deck. It goes in there. Okay, now I think we get to get rid of our enemies. Put each set-aside Manar location into play. So the enemies go away. So those get discarded. So we don't have the Corsairs to worry about anymore. The Knight Riders go away. This card goes to our the bottom of our deck. We go grab the Manar locations. So Kadath, I believe it's Sarnath and Ib are the other two. So let's do that. Ruins of Ib and Sarnath. So Kadath is connected to Sarnath and the Ruins of Ib. The Ruins of Ib are only connected to... Oh, they're connected to everything too. All right. Okay, we start at Kadath this time. So we are here. Okay. So Kadath, 5 shroud location with 1 clue. We can use 3 actions to draw 5 cards, and it is veiled. Sarnath, veiled. Sarnath cannot be flipped over unless the investigators know what happened to Ib. Forced after you successfully investigate Sarnath by 1 or less, we take a horror. And the Ruins of Ib, veiled. After you reveal a skull or cultist token while investigating Ruins of Ib, discard an asset you control, and it's worth a victory point, as is Sarnath. I feel like we're forgetting something. Isn't there a creature at... Yeah, spawn the set-aside beings of Ib at the Ruins of Ib. So let's do that. Knew there had to be an enemy in there somewhere. So the beings of Ib are at the Ruins of Ib. Beings of Ib have 4 fight, 1 health, and 4 evade. Investigators at ruins locations only, aloof, hunter, and swarming 1. So basically, the beings of Ib just hang out at the Ruins of Ib. I believe is the trick. Swarming 1 per investigator. So we have to throw another card underneath the... where do we want to put this? Move to back. Where is my thing here? All right. Let's move these down a little bit here so we can... Okay, so the beings of Ib prey investigators at a ruins location only. Aloof, hunter, swarming 1. So they just hang out at the ruins. During the enemy attack step of the enemy phase, instead of attacking its engaged investigator, beings of Ib attacks each investigator at its location, even if unengaged. So they just attack everybody for one sanity. They deal 1 horror apiece. So if I go there and I take 2 horror, they can actually go... Actually, the beings would move to the... they can go to Sarnath too. So we don't want to be at... We want to try to avoid being at Sarnath or the ruins when our turn... during the phase, because otherwise we will be attacked by the beings. So that's easy enough to get around. We can go to the ruins, investigate, then move away. We can go to Sarnath, investigate, move away. Okay, I think we're all done that. We go to the Mythos phase. 3 of 9. We will draw an encounter card, which is... Oh my god, how many times am I going to draw this card? Oh dear, oh dear. So for the 3rd time this game, we draw Law of Yaghiroth Chaos. Man, oh man, that is just a thorn in our side, this game. But that's okay. We have David Renfield. We can discard him. So let's do that. We will discard David Renfield to get rid of the Laws of Chaos yet again. That'll take us in action. Now we can investigate. We can trigger David first. Sorry, I shouldn't be losing resources. I should be gaining resources. So we gain a resource. We might as well play our 4 of Cups. We're only going to investigate once at Kadath on this turn anyway. So we will pay 3 resources to get the 4 of Cups in play. And that will give us a... What are we at now? 4? 5, 6, 7, 8. We are at 8 willpower with the 4 of Cups in play. I could really use... I wouldn't mind using Mr. Rook, but the problem is I don't have... I'd love to use Mr. Rook to grab a Shriveling, but I don't have the... I don't have a way to deal with my weakness. It's not detached from reality I'm worried about. It is the stupid mob enforcer. So let's investigate. We are going 8v5. Chaos bag says -1. So we grab a clue at Kadath. We gain another resource on the Hawkeye folding camera, so we have 10 sanity now. We will use the veiled ability to trigger Kadath. So you have uncovered a sign of the gods. Again. So we go up to 4 signs of the gods. Shuffle 1 set-aside copy of Tenebrous Nightgaunt into the encounter deck. So we go do that. So we will do that. And what else do we do? And when we flip this back over. Okay. So we have discovered another sign. We get to use Virgil Gray. Gain a resource, draw a card, or heal a horror. I'm going to gain a resource because my mob enforcer might pop here, and then I would have to pay for him. And this is the easiest way to pay for him, is just to pay him off and get rid of him. So the beings of Ib just stay where they are. We draw Quantum Flux. Okay, that's nice because we can shuffle our Astounding Revelations back into our deck. And we can draw a card and dilute our draw deck a little bit. All right. We go to the Mythos phase. 4 of 9. How many are there? Just the... There's just the 2, eh? So we may have to resign sooner than later. What about killing the beings of Ib? They're aloof, though. They're easy to kill. We just need to engage them. But we can actually do... So I just want to check the beings of Ib here. I just want to make sure they don't hunt where I don't think they come to the city. That's the... I'm fairly certain of that, but... Just want to see here if that's... Yeah, it doesn't say... Oh, maybe it says it in the... No? Huh. Yeah, I'm fairly certain they don't move because their prey instructions tell them to stay put. It's only when we're at one of these two locations. Anyway, 4 of 9. We draw our encounter card, which is Wondrous Lands. If there are no clues on your location, discard Wondrous Lands and it gains Surge. Well, that's easy enough. We go and we draw another Wondrous Lands, which gets Surge. Oh, the Hunted by Corsairs is back. Great. Well, that is a pain in the butt. we're going to have to get rid of that, because otherwise we're going to lose all of our allies. Or most of our allies. That's okay. I mean, we can lose Dave. We want to lose David at some point. But taking 2 damage is not. So we will get our David bucks first off. So we have 4 resources. Now we can move. Oh, we don't know what happened to Ib. I'm fairly certain we don't know what happened to Ib yet. No, we don't. Okay, so let's move. So we move to Ruins of Ib. We could actually lose something here, which would be really annoying, but we can investigate 8v1. Chaos Bag says +1. We gain a clue. We will trigger the Veiled ability. Beings of Ib are aloof, so we don't have to worry about them. Remember that investigators know what happened to Ib. Flip this card back over. So now we know what happened to Ib, and then we're going to move back to Kadath, so we don't trigger, so these beings don't hunt us down. Okay. We draw our second copy of 4 of Cups. We go 5 of 9. We draw Dreamland's Eclipse. Put Dreamland's Eclipse next to the agenda deck. When you initiate an investigation, you must either take 1 horror or your location gets +2 Shroud. For this investigation, at the end of the round, discard Dreamland's Eclipse. No problem. So we will gain our 3 actions. We will move to Sarnath. We need to successfully investigate Sarnath by 1 or less. We need to investigate Sarnath by a bunch, basically. So we'll take the horror for Dreamland's Eclipse, and then we will go 8v3. We draw -4, which puts us at 4. So we take another horror. Of course, we draw -4, even though we're 8v3. So we successfully investigate Sarnath by 1 or less. So we take another horror. That's really annoying, but not devastating. We gain this clue. We will flip over Sarnath. It is veiled, so we will flip Sarnath. You have uncovered a sign of the gods. So we will go to 5. And then we will... so the Doom of Sarnath. Although this city-state was founded ages ago and stood for over 1,000 years, it is no more. The tales tell of a single night in which Sarnath fell. Now very little of it remains, only a vast marsh where the city once stood tall and proud. Among the ruins you find no standing buildings but rubble of marble, brick, and chalcedony. But as you approach the remains, lightning splits the sky. There is a blinding flash. As you blink your eyes, everything changes. Where before no city stood, now there looms a ghostly image of Sarnath as it once was. Near the lake where the lightning struck, you find a curious and ancient idol of green stone. It is coated with seaweed and chiseled in the likeness of a great water lizard. One of the gods of the realm, perhaps? So we uncovered a sign of the gods. We can gain a resource or draw a card with our friend Virgil Gray. We haven't used David this turn, so we will grab his resource. Let's draw a card. There's the Mob Enforcer, of course. We're going to have to take a damage, but we can get rid of... We'll get rid of... Oh, we've still got to deal with the Hunted by Corsairs. What a pain. We could use our gate box to deal with the Mob Enforcer, but I've got the resources to pay him off. But if I stay here, I take 2 horror due to the Beings of Ib. Is it worth it? We could just dump the horror on Virgil Gray. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we draw the Mob Enforcer. I am just going to pay him off. So he will get discarded. We will go to the enemy phase. The Beings of Ib move. They hunt. We take 2 horror, which we'll put on Virgil Gray. And we will just we'll do it that way. So we draw an Uncage the Soul. That'll pay for our Storm of Spirits. Although we would take an attack of opportunity to do so, which is not ideal. All right. We have done everything we need to do. 6 of 9. We are going to have to get rid of David Renfield here sooner than later because we are running out of time. This goes at the end of the round. We can just actually kill him with the Corsairs next turn. All right. We will draw an encounter card, which is Prismatic Phenomena. Put it into play in your threat area. The first time you perform one of the following actions, draw a resource or play each round, it costs 1 additional action. After you successfully investigate a location, instead of discovering clues, discard Prismatic Phenomena. So, so that's not bad, actually. Because we can deal with that at Kadath. So what we will do, we will move. The Beings of Ib are aloof, so they just hang out. We will go... we will investigate at Kadath to try to get rid of the Prismatic Phenomenon. So we are going 6... we're going 8v5. There's a skull. That's a minus 5, I believe. Let's try again, since we can't advance until the end of the round. And there's an auto fail. So we get a -5 and an auto fail. No luck there. Let's gain our David bucks before we get rid of him this turn. We go to the end of the round. We draw a Rite of Seeking. At the end of the round, we will advance. We will take 2 damage, one of which David will take, and we will take the other. So now we can probably safely use Mr. Rook if we need to. We can get a Shriveling. This prismatic phenomena is going to slow us down a little bit, though. Let's go to... Illic-Vad, maybe? So... where to? Your options in this region exhausted, you make your way back to your ship. The captain orders the crew to get ready to leave port. Wasn't sure if you'd get back in time, but here you are, the captain says with a grin. Well, where to? So we can play... So we remove the Beings of Ib. The Beings of Ib are gone. This goes to the bottom of our deck. So we have to go to the Forbidden Lands or the Timeless Realm. The Timeless Realm is longer, and we only have 4 turns left. So I think we'll go to Forbidden Lands. So we will go to that setup. These will all disappear. We will go to the Forbidden Lands. Forbidden Lands setup. We lose all our clues. Whoops, that's a resource. I don't want to lose those. We lose all our clues. Remove each location from the game or place it in the victory display. Well, we should have done that. Let's go back and grab those locations again because some of them had victory points on them. There were a couple in there. Sarnath and Ib both have victory points on them. So they go to the victory display. What else happens? Each enemy is removed. So we put Illic-Vad, Forbidden Lands, and Zulan Thek into play. Forbidden Lands, Illic-Vad, Zulan Thek. So Illic-Vad is connected to the Forbidden Lands, which is connected to Zulan Thek, which is not connected to anything else. So we have to go Illic-Vad, Forbidden Lands, Zulan Thek if we want to get that far. Illic-Vad, 2 shroud location with 1 clue. While you are at Illic-Vad, reduce the cost of the first spell, ritual, or relic you play each round by 1. There are no clues at the Forbidden Lands, but it's a 6 shroud location. Action, test 1 combat. If you succeed, test 2 agility. If you succeed, test 3 willpower. If you succeed, flip this card over. If you fail any of these tests, take 1 damage. And Zulan Thek is a 4 shroud location with 1 clue forced at the end of the round. Add 1 swarm card to the Horde of the Night for each investigator in Zulan Thek. And I presume we need to go get the Horde of the Night as well. Spawn the set-aside Stalking Manticore at the Forbidden Lands and the Horde of the Night at Zulan Thek. So we will do that now. Stalking Manticore goes here. Horde of the Night goes here. The Stalking Manticore, 4 fight, 3 health per investigator, and 2 agility. Creature monster elite. Forced, if you successfully evade the Stalking Manticore, disengage from it but do not exhaust it. Until the end of the phase, it cannot engage you. It's worth a victory point. And the Horde of the Night is massive, swarming 1 card per investigator. So that will go there. Horde of the Night's swarm cards cannot attack. Horde of the Night's host card cannot be defeated. If it would be defeated, exhaust Horde of the Night instead. Horde of the Night's swarm cards cannot attack. At the end of the round, add 1 swarm card to Horde of the Night. So how does it deal? So does it just accumulate swarm cards? Is that the deal? So right now it's only attacking. Okay. Oh, and this thing goes away. The Corsair murder card. I believe we have to shuffle the... Move each location from play. When do we do this? Shuffling count. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's on the act card. So we shuffle that into the discard pile, or the discard pile back into the deck. Good. And I think we've done everything. We'll delete this. Seek out the night, Act 2A. From the relative safety of the fabulous city of Illichvad, you may cross into the hellish and bizarre landscape of the Forbidden Lands. East of this barren and blasted landscape lie the lands of which have been ravaged by the hordes of night. Find and uncover as many signs of the gods in this region, yada yada yada. Okay, so that is discarded, but if we discover a clue, we have to get rid of this stupid thing first, which is annoying, but draw a resource or play. So that's fine. We'll just get rid of it after we discover clues here at Illichvad. Okay. That was all at the end of the round. Man, oh man. So we will advance. So 6 of 9 Doom. We will draw an encounter card, which is the Tenebrous Night Gaunt. So we are going to be haunted by this fellow for the rest of the game unless we kill him. He is a hunter. But he's only got one evade, which makes him relatively easy to deal with from an evasion standpoint. Can't believe I haven't drawn. I'm almost through my draw deck. I've only got 11 cards left. I haven't seen a single shriveling yet, which is surprising. All right. I guess first up we need to evade the Tenebrous Night Gaunt. 3v1. Sure. Do we have any cards we want to... Yeah, let's pitch. Let's commit Eureka. We'll go 4v1. And we can search our deck for a card. We get a -4. What is it with the -4s this game? Piss off. Man. 4v1 and we draw a -4, of course. So we missed that. Let's try again. 3v1 this time. And we get a +1. So he is evaded. And then we're going to try to get rid of our prismatic phenomenon by investigating 8v2. And we get a 0. So instead of discovering clues, we get rid of prismatic phenomena. So basically, that was not a great turn. We needed to get rid of this Tenebrous Night Gaunt, who was just going to re-engage us at the end of the turn, which is kind of annoying. We draw our second copy of Hawkeye Folding Camera, which is probably too little too late. I think what we do, I think Ilikvad is a sign of the gods. Zulanthek is probably a sign of the gods. But we only have one gate box left, so we can't get... We'd have to walk through the stalking manticore or find a way to kill it. We do have a Storm of Spirits we can sap him with. But that doesn't kill him. Knowledge of Power would, though. Yeah, we could do that. We could use Knowledge of Power to kill the Manticore. We'd have to play it twice. Play 2 Storm of Spirits to kill the Manticore. We could do that. But we'd need to evade the Night Gaunt. Let's see how the Mythos phase goes. Draw an encounter card. It's the Night Riders. Now we're in trouble. Now we are in a bit of trouble. Actually, no, we're not in trouble. We have a Storm of Spirits that will do just fine. So it is swarming 1. So swarm card goes on. 7 of 9, so we really need to get rid of this stuff. So let's play our Storm of Spirits using Knowledge as Power. It is fast. So we choose a spell or asset you control or reveal a spell asset from your hand. So ta-da! Resolve an action on that asset. Then we may discard it if we wish. So we will simply tack nuke the Night Riders with Storm of Spirits. We are going to go 8v2 to deal 2 damage to every creature at our location. So 8v2, Chaos Bag says Tablet. That's a -2. We did succeed, but we do take a damage from... deals 1 damage to each investigator at our location because we revealed a special token. I think this is when Mr. Rook takes the fall for us. And so this goes away. This comes back to our hand. The Storm of Spirit... So we discard the Knowledge of Power, we bring the Storm of Spirits back to our hand, we deal 2 damage to all the creatures. So the Swarm dies. We move the Swarm card to the bottom of our deck. This guy takes 2 damage. We can now try to evade him. 3v1. Let's go 4v1. We'll commit the Quantum Flux to go 4v1. We could just kill him, but then we'd be... I'm just worried if we draw another Hunter hunted by Corsairs. That would really suck. We'll go 4v1. Chaos Bag says -1, so the Tenebrous Night Gaunt is evaded. That's the... yeah, that was just our first action, because Storm of Spirits is... Knowledge's power is fast, so our first action is to evade the Tenebrous Night Gaunt. We will use an action to investigate Ilikvad, going 8v2. We get a 0, so we grab this clue. We will trigger the Veiled ability. It's a spell, right? Oh, it isn't. So Ilikvad, while you are at Ilikvad, reduce the cost of the first spell, ritual, or relic card you play each round by 1. So we got to play the Storm of Spirits for 1 less. I didn't actually pay for it, but we get to pay 1 less for it, so that's nice. We get to flip over Ilikvad. Each investigator at Ilikvad heals 2 horror and draws 2 cards. That's unfortunate, because we drew our other copy of Astounding Revelation and Mr. Rook. Okay. I was hoping that would give us a sign of the gods. It must be the Forbidden Lands and Zulon Thek that give us that. I wish we had 1 more charge on our gate box, because otherwise we'll have to walk back, and that's not going to happen. Damn it. Forbidden Lands, we could pass the skill test there, I think. Well, 1, 2, 3. Passing 3 skill tests is not great. Zulon Thek, we can easily get the clue. Maybe this just isn't the right place for us. Maybe we go to the other one. It's just we've run out of time here. That's the problem. We've only got 5 and we've run out of... What does this one look like? Yeah, Celiphae is veiled. Maybe we go there. So I think what we'll do, we're going to go to Celiphae instead of this one. This one is not very friendly to us, but we're going to try to kill the Tenebrous Night Gaunt first. We'll play Uncage the Soul to play Storm of Spirits. Since it's already exhausted, we don't have to worry about this, that. So we will go, we get it for free. We are going 8v4. What did we draw the last time? -2, 8v6. Yeah, so we still hit it. So 8v4. Chaos Bag says tablet. That's a -2. So we take another damage. We're at 4 of 5. The Tenebrous Night Gaunt, though, is dead. Okay. We draw our first copy of Shriveling, and it's only Shriveling 1. During the upkeep, we're going to advance. Because I think you need at least 6 signs of the gods, so we're going to go for 6. So, searching counter deck and discard pile player areas for Horde of the Night and Stalking Manticore. Remove them each from the game. We will do that. We will need to resign next turn, which is tough to... Well, we might be able to do it. Let's see. Move this to the bottom of our deck. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Investigators, we're going to the Timeless Realm. So all of these will go away. We're going to the Timeless Realm to try to get one more before the game ends here. Timeless Realm, we lose all our clues, remove each location from the game. Was Illichvad a victory point location? Maybe. Could have been. Illichvad is a victory point location, so it goes to the victory display. Then we will go put Celiphae, Serenian, and Hazuth Clegg into play. Hazuth, Celiphae, and Serenian. Clue. Celiphae is veiled, 2 shroud location, 1 clue. Serenian is veiled, 3 shroud location, 1 clue. As an additional cost for you to enter or leave Serenian, you must choose and discard a card from your hand. And Hazuth Clegg is veiled, 4 shroud location, 1 clue. We will... Celiphae is connected to... we're doing this again. So it's Hazuth Clegg is next, followed by Serenian. Correct? Hazuth Clegg is connected to Celiphae. Oh no. Okay, this is right here. Hazuth Clegg is connected to Celiphae and an unknown location. Okay, well, we're not going to go there anyway because the end of the game is nigh. So, do we have any enemies to deal with? That's the question. The Crawling Mist goes into the encounter deck. All right. Crawling Mist goes into the encounter deck. And search the encounter deck for 1 copy of Priests of 1,000 Masks and spawn it at Hazuth Clegg. Okay. It goes at Hazuth Clegg. Is he a hunter? No. +1 damage, retaliate, +2 health, +1 fight, +1 evade, but it is not a hunter, so that is not a big deal. All right. I believe that's it. Advance to King's Decree. All right. King's Decree. Much of the valley Much of the valley realm of Uthnagai, ruled by the dreamer Karanes, eludes the grasp of time. Nothing here ages or falls into disrepair. It is a realm of wonder and marvels. How many years might pass here before you even notice? So we need to find realms of the gods, and we need to resign at a port. This is a port, so that is going to be our goal, to get out of this area. So these will go here. So we need to take an action to resign. Is that correct? Yes, if you were at a port, it's on the agenda card. So if you're at a port, resign. So we have 2 actions to grab this clue at Celifay, and then we'll need to resign. Okay. So we go to 8 of 9 Doom. We will draw an encounter card, which is going to be the Maga Birds. After you move out of attached location, take 1 horror, place 1 doom on the current agenda, and discard the song. So we're not planning to move. So that is essentially blank. So let us investigate here. So we will go 8v2. Chaos Bag says tablet again. That's a -2. So we will succeed. We will use the free triggered ability on Celifay. We have beseeched the king. Oh, so we're not going to get the 6th one. Damn it. I guess it would have been too easy to get it there. We don't have any more Tenebrous Night Gaunts to shuffle in. So we flip this card back over. So we basically get the victory point. Actually, wait a sec. I don't think we can do any fancy stuff, but what we could do... that doesn't get us the clue. We could use Sixth Sense in this case because we drew a tablet to grab the clue at... we could grab a clue at Seranian. But we can't move to Seranian. That's the problem. Oh yeah, we can. Oh, but then we'd have the Maga Birds to deal with. Yeah. But we can... What we could do, we could get an extra VP if we... So Celifay is connected to Seranian. So if we use the Sixth Sense, we would succeed in grabbing the clue there. So let's grab the clue there instead. Then we can take another... We can't move there or get any... So now we'll investigate again at Celifay. Chaos Bag gives us a -2, so we get that clue as well, and then we resign. So we ended up with five signs of Kadath, or signs of the gods, which is not great. We did not Yeah, we got. I'm not too sure what happened there. We had a couple of bad turns where we were slowed down. Um, yeah, we lost a couple turns, which I think was the difference between getting the 5th and the 6th. So let's take a quick look here at the. Yeah, we had to resign. We didn't want to stick around and find out what happens if you don't. So resolution, we did not die. Resolution. Okay, so let's see here. No one was defeated. We weren't captured. Proceed to resolution. If no resolution was reached, at least in one investigator resigned. Proceed to 1. So resolution 1. You have ventured far and wide, from the quaint cobbled villages of the Kingdom of Sky to the wondrous lands you could never in 100 years imagined. You learned much of the dreamlands and of the gods who dwell atop Kadath. Though you are closer to your goal, you still don't know its precise location. In the meantime, your quest grows deadlier with each passing day. No matter where you go, foul, nightmarish creatures pursue you across the land and sea. Winged beasts with no faces, horned corsairs wielding razor-sharp cutlasses and commanding great black galleys, the agents of your demise, bear many shapes. You decide to return to your ship, safe from the many dangers of the Dreamlands, or so you thought. Unfortunately, your ship is no safe haven. When you return, the crew and captain are nowhere to be found. There are no signs of a struggle, but Virgil, who returned to the ship earlier to prepare for your next departure, is also missing. I fear the worst, Randolph mourns. If those fiendish corsairs captured them, they are in dire trouble. They are agents of the other gods from the outside, whose souls and messenger is the crawling chaos Nyarlathotep. The mere utterance of the name causes you to shudder, though you do not know why. You ask where they might have been taken, as if discussing any other port of call. He replies, the beasts who commanded their black galleys sail from the moon. If we are to rescue Virgil and our other companions, that is where we must go. Each investigator earns experience equal to victory X value of each card in the victory display. So these were added to the victory display as well. So how did we do? We ended up with 7 victory points. We ended up with 7 VP thanks to all the locations we uncovered. Plus we still had, how many? We didn't spend all of our, we had 6 left, so we've got 13 experience points to work with, so that's pretty good. Recording your campaign log, Virgil was captured. Randolph eluded capture. If you're playing Dream Quest as a 4-part campaign, proceed to Dark Side of the Moon. If you have not played, proceed to 1,000 Shapes of Horror. If you've already played, go to the interlude. All right. Well. We ended up with 5 signs of the gods. Wanted more, but unfortunately we had a couple of turns there where we ended up getting blocked. And that one with a couple, I wish we'd gone there maybe first, where we would have been able to use our extra gate box tokens to deal with some of those locations with the Manticore and the Hordes of Night. It would have been nice, too, if we hadn't drawn that stupid Tenebrous Night Gaunt, we could have nuked the Manticore with double Storm of Spirits, which would have been a lot better. Unfortunately, we drew the Tenebrous Night Gaunt, and then we drew Night Riders, so we had no choice. We really had to use the Storm there. So that's unfortunate, but otherwise we end up with 7 VP and 5 Signs of the Gods, and we are on our way to the moon. So if you, I will be recording a if you are a patron of the channel, stay tuned for the post-game show. Where I will talk a little bit more about how this game went. And if not, I hope that you will join me over when we play Dark Side of the Moon, the third scenario in the dream side of this campaign. I'll be back shortly as well with the second scenario in the waking side, 1,000 Shapes of Horror, and that we are playing with Patrice Hathaway. So I hope that you will tune in then. Thank you very much for joining me for the Search for Kadath. It feels like this was a long one. Yeah, 2 hours. That's a pretty long game for a solo game, but there's a lot of setting up and tearing down and putting the board back up. So it takes a little longer. That's going to do it for this episode. I hope that you will join me again soon for the rest of the playthroughs of this campaign, and we'll see if we can't get. We've got 13 XP to spend, so Luke has a lot of things he can spend money on. So we'll see what we do ahead of Dark Side of the Moon. That's going to do it for this episode. If you enjoy what you hear, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you need to contact me, I can be reached at manfromleng@gmail.com. I am also on Twitter at manfromleng. Until the stars are right, keep your shotgun close and your elder sign closer. Take care out there, and happy investigating.